This video breaks down the most dangerous roads and intersections in New Mexico using actual crash data, covering I-25, I-40, Central Avenue in Albuquerque, Cerrillos Road in Santa Fe, and what drivers should do if they're hurt on any of them. Your friend takes the safe route home from downtown Albuquerque. Familiar road, one he's driven 100 times. He knows the lights, knows the timing. He ends up at the ER with a fractured collarbone and a totaled car. You tell him, call a lawyer before you call the insurance company. Good advice, but here's the real question. Do you know which roads in New Mexico are most likely to put someone in that situation? Do you know which intersections have the highest fatality rates in this state? Because the answer might surprise you. And if you drive anywhere in New Mexico, this is the video you need to watch before you get behind the wheel again. New Mexico consistently ranks among the top 5 most dangerous states in the country for traffic fatalities per capita. Not because of volume, not because we have the most drivers, but because of the specific conditions on our roads. Long open stretches that invite speed, a mix of experienced locals and tourists who don't know the road. Significant impaired driving rates and infrastructure that in many places hasn't kept pace with traffic volume. After nearly 20 years handling personal injury cases across Santa Fe and Albuquerque, I've seen the pattern firsthand. The crashes that produce the worst injuries don't always happen where people expect them. Some of the most dangerous spots in this state are roads you drive every week without a second thought. Here's what the data actually shows. If you drive between Santa Fe and Albuquerque, you drive I-25. There's no realistic alternative. And that corridor carries a statistic worth understanding before your next trip. New Mexico Department of Transportation data through 2015 through 2019 shows that I-25 produced 121 crashes and 129 fatalities in that 5-year window. What's striking is that 89% of those fatal collisions happened in clear weather, not ice, not rain. The sky was blue. The reason comes down to behavior. When conditions feel safe, drivers speed up, close the gap, and stop paying full attention. I-25 between Santa Fe and Albuquerque has significant grade changes, stretches with limited shoulders, and a steady mix of commercial trucks and passenger vehicles all operating in the same lanes. At 75 miles per hour with reduced following distance, that combination is unforgiving. Alcohol was a factor in 23% of I-25 fatalities. Most of those crashes happen at night. The corridor has no alternative route, so late night drivers, whether or not they should be driving, are using the same road everyone else is. If you're hurt on I-25, the first call you make should not be to the insurance company. I'll come back to why at the end of this video. If I-25 is dangerous for a Santa Fe driver, I-40 is what Albuquerque residents live with every day. I-40 cuts through the middle of Albuquerque from east to west. It handles enormous commercial truck traffic, particularly between Amarillo and Albuquerque. That truck volume is not incidental. Commercial vehicles involved in crashes produce dramatically different injury profiles than 2 passenger car collisions. The physics are different. The liability rules are different. The insurance structures are different. The I-40 corridor is particularly dense with truck traffic between downtown Albuquerque and the eastern city limits. Areas near major interchanges, including the Big I, where I-25 and I-40 intersect, consistently show high crash rates. That interchange carries a significant share of both local commuter traffic and long-haul commercial vehicles, and it requires lane changes and exits that catch drivers off guard, especially those unfamiliar with its layout. Research analysis of New Mexico crash data have identified I-40 corridor as having the highest volume of serious injury crashes in Albuquerque year after year. High speed, high volume, and high truck density create a combination that is consistently lethal. If you're hit by a commercial truck on I-40, your case is fundamentally different from a standard car accident. Trucking companies have rapid response legal teams that mobilize within hours of a crash. If you don't have someone in your corner quickly, the evidence you need is already being managed by people protecting the carrier, not you. Step off the highway and the danger doesn't go away. Central Avenue in Albuquerque is a different kind of dangerous. Money Geek analyzed fatal crash data across New Mexico and identified the stretch of Central Avenue from San Mateo Boulevard southeast to Dorado Place southeast as the deadliest segment of road in the state. That specific corridor saw 15 fatal crashes in a 3-year period. Distracted driving was a factor in 36% of the crashes on that stretch. Speeding contributed to 35%, impaired driving to 28%. Central Avenue is wide, busy, and lined with commercial development that generates constant pedestrian and turning traffic. Drivers coming out of parking lots, pedestrians crossing at non-signalized points, delivery vehicles stopped in travel lanes, and high traffic volume create a collision environment that's very different from highway crashes, but just as serious. Their injuries from Central Avenue crashes tend to involve pedestrians and cyclists at a higher rate than highway crashes. Those cases require specific documentation and legal analysis that a general insurance claim process rarely captures accurately. For anyone who lives in Santa Fe, this is not a surprise. Cerrillos Road is Santa Fe's busiest commercial corridor, and it has earned a reputation as one of the most hazardous stretches in northern New Mexico. The intersection of St. Francis Drive and Cerrillos Road is consistently identified by transportation analysis as one of the Santa Fe's most accident-prone locations. The intersection sits adjacent to the rail runner crossing, generating unusual traffic patterns that contribute to collision risk. Fatal motorcycle and pedestrian incidents have been documented at this intersection within the last several years. Airport Road and Cerrillos Road have also recorded high fatality rates. In 2017, crashes at that intersection had a fatality rate of 33%, meaning that when a crash happened there, someone died 1 in 3 times. That's an extraordinary figure. Cerrillos Road combines high speed, high commercial traffic volume, and significant pedestrian activity in a corridor that was not designed for the current load it carries. NMDOT has acknowledged structural deficiencies on the road, including narrow lanes, surface deterioration, and insufficient turning capacity at key intersections. If you're hurt anywhere on Cerrillos Road, the same principle applies. The insurance company is going to move quickly. You should too. New Mexico is a pure comparative fault state. Even if you are partially responsible for the crash, you can still recover compensation, proportional to the other driver's share of fault. Most people outside the legal world don't know this. They assume that if they contribute to the accident in any way, they're out. New Mexico, that is not the law. What that means particularly is that even a crash where you made a mistake, maybe you were slightly over the speed limit, maybe you didn't stop as quickly as you could have, doesn't automatically eliminate your right to compensation if the other driver was primarily at fault. But you have to protect that right. And the way most people commonly lose it is by talking to the insurance company before they've talked to an attorney. The other driver's insurance company is not neutral. They're not there to help you figure out what you deserve. Their job is to pay out as little as possible on every claim. The call that you make in the first 24 to 48 hours, the one that sounds routine, that's a recorded statement. Every answer you give is reviewed by their team looking for language they can use to reduce your claim. New Mexico's statute of limitations for personal injury claims is 3 years. You have time to make a thoughtful decision. But the evidence doesn't wait 3 years. Scene documentation, vehicle data, witness memory, surveillance footage from nearby businesses all start degrading immediately after the crash. The first call after an accident on any of these roads should be to an attorney, not an insurance adjuster. If this video was useful, the next one you should watch covers what the insurance company is actually doing on their end in the first 24 hours after your crash. It's a behind the curtain look at their process that most people never see. Watch it here. If you're dealing with injuries from a New Mexico accident right now, Szantho Law Firm handles personal injury cases across the state. Contact information is in the description below. Which road on this list worries you the most as a New Mexico driver? Drop it in the comments below.